So Zapier has recently released its AI Agents tool, which is meant to make creating AI agents much quicker and much easier. But let's see how well it actually works, and let's compare it to what I believe is the best tool at the moment for creating AI agents and automations, n8n. So here we are within Zapier, and you can see on the left-hand side, we've got agents. Now, it is in beta, so we're going to cut it a little bit of slack, but let's have a look at it. So we're going to click into it, and you can see we come to a dashboard that looks a little bit like this. So what it allows you to do is describe in natural language what you want it to do, and it should be able to create an agent to do that thing. Now, the definition of agent gets a little bit loose here because I think not all of these here are actually agents. It just allows you to create an automation with natural language, which is cool, but I technically wouldn't say it's an agent, but we might be splitting hairs in terms of definitions. However, I'm going to ask it to create something really simple to begin with. I want a flow that will monitor my emails, and when I get an email about customer support for a specific product, I want it to then send me a Telegram message with a summary of this email so that I know I've got a customer support email, I need to quickly get on it and reply to it. So I'm going to say, whenever I receive an email, I want you to check to see if it is a customer support email about my business sales desk. And if it is, I want you to send me a message on Telegram with a summary of this email. Okay, let's create this agent and see what it does. Okay, so it's asking me to connect up the apps that it needs in order to make this run. I have already set up a Telegram account, and I can say that actually setting up tools within Zapier and the agent side of things is really quick and simple. So that's great. Okay, so here it is. This is what it's given me. You can see here the instructions are in natural language, so we can see what it's doing. And this is where I would say it's not really an agent because it's very linear. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can have if statements, but that's not really what an agent is, I don't think. Now, the first thing that I'm seeing is that it has forgot the bit about when an email is sent or when we receive an email, because there's no trigger to this. There's nothing mentioned here about emails. We can't test it because there's no trigger. So we're going to have to do something manually. So fine, add trigger, Gmail. There we go. Let's go Gmail and let's connect up a trigger. So let's say new email. Yep, that's my email. Let's select that one. Okay, then what's it going to do? If the email is a customer support email related to sales desk, if the email is identified as a customer support email, summarize the main points, send a summary to Telegram. Okay, fine. Let's test this agent. So it's going to go in and it's going to try and find an email. However, it's not going to find an email related to sales desk because I have not sent one. So after a couple of minutes, it has predictably said none of the emails are related to sales desk, which is fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send a quick email to that email address about sales desk, so it will have something to test it on. Now, this user interface is quite nice and simple, but I wonder how I'm going to select a certain email as a test to run it. So let me send this email and we'll see. Okay, I've sent that email about a minute ago, so it should have had time to come through. Let's retest this agent, see if it finds that email, and then see how it responds to it. Okay, so it looks like it has found an email. This is not the email that I sent, and I don't have a way of selecting that email so I can test it with the email that I sent. So I think the only way to do this is that I'm going to have to, I can't select the email in here, I don't think. So the only thing that I can do is I'm going to have to turn this automation on, which is not what you want to do when you're testing it, then send an email and then see what is happening. But let's see what happens. So I've turned it on and I'm going to send myself a similar email asking about customer support for this business and see if anything happens. Okay, so I've just sent that email. This is live. On activity, we should be able to see when that comes through. I can say here, the setup for connecting tools is very good and it is much easier than n8n. That's one of the downsides of n8n at the moment, is that setting up connections, especially with Google properties, is a bit of a pain in the ass. And even things with n8n is not super simple. I have set these up before, so which is why they're not shown in this video, but it is really simple. Okay, so nothing yet. We're going to give it a refresh and just to see. Still nothing here. I don't know what has gone wrong here. We're not even getting the emails that have been sent to this email address. If we go to managed accounts, so we can see we do actually have it connected. So I'm not sure why we are not getting through a trigger when this happens. This is a very simple thing to do. I don't really have any more tools at my disposal in terms of how I can see what's happening or what's not happening. Okay, so we're within my emails now, and you can see here this one did come through. So we are receiving these emails. Zapier just isn't doing anything with it. It just seems not to be bothered. So it is in beta, but it's not working. Okay, I've had a little bit of a look through it. There doesn't seem to be anything that I'm missing. It just looks like it's not working here. I don't think this is an unfair representation of the tool. I think I know what I'm doing on the tech side of things. I think this is just the tech just not working in this scenario. It's a very cool interface in terms of being able to create automations just by text. We can do this within n8n, like I've shown in previous videos, how you can create entire n8n flows just by typing out what you want. However, it just doesn't work. And yes, it's in beta, but it's just not there. Let's have a look at how you create this in n8n. Obviously, I do have more experience within n8n, but to show the simplicity of how we do it, let's simply go Gmail. Let's go on message received. We're going to connect up the correct account here. We're going to turn simplify off. Then what we want to do is we want to have a classifier, which we're going to take the text from the email and we're going to classify, is it related to that business? Then I want a basic LLM chain. Where are we? LLM chain. There we go. And then we want Telegram. And send a text on Telegram. Okay, now let's connect these up. Let's give this some intelligence. There we go. And we need to give it some options. So let's say related to sales desk. Let's pull that through. And that's connected up there. Fine. So let's also connect this to the same AI model. Now, I am flying through this on n8n. This is not really a tutorial. If you do want to know more about n8n and how you can use it within your business, do come over to the free Applied AI Club that I have. Link will be down below. But let me fly through and create the rest of this. So let's go into the Gmail trigger and let's fetch a test event. And hopefully it gets the most recent one, which is related to the business. Let's see. Yes, so this is the one that I sent about sales desk, which is great because it should trigger. So what I want to say is email subject, and let's change this to expression. Email subject, and then email body. And within the data that I got back from the email, let's find the subject and drag that in there. And then let's go body. Okay, we'll take the text, which is the body of the email. We'll put that semicolon in there. And we need to add a description. So we're going to say, if the information of this email relates to customer support for the business of sales desk. There we go. Okay, so we can execute this step and hopefully it should trigger and say it is related to sales desk. So our output is going to be one item outputted, which means it is going to go down this path, which is great. Then we are going to go in here and we want AI to simply summarize it. So I'm going to put in the same thing here as I did in the last thing. So I'm going to say email subject, and let's change this to expression, and then go email body. And then for the subject, let me find the subject and drag that in here. And for the body, let me find that text and put that there. And then as a prompt, the system prompt, I'm going to say, you are a email summarizer that summarizes the email that is given to you. Okay, very simple prompts. You could obviously improve these prompts as you need to. Let's execute that and we should get a basic answer. Matt is inquiring about the pricings for the pricing details about sales desk. Yep, great. Let's go over to Telegram. I already have a Telegram account connected, so I'm going to go over and say Matt's n8n test bot. For the text, I'm going to make this an expression and I'm going to say you have a new email about sales desk, and then a semicolon, and then we're going to drag in the summary. We're going to change this so the n8n attribution is off. Okay, I'm actually going to change the Telegram account. I'm going to change it to this one. I'm going to paste in the chat ID, which I've got from Telegram. Okay, now I think this should all work. So I'm going to save this. I am going to execute workflow, and I am going to send myself an email so we can see how this works. Okay, I've sent that email. Let's have a look into the executions, and we should see any second, we should see this working. Okay, so there we see it has picked it up and it is processing. Let's have a quick look at it. Okay, so we can see that this email was collected. Let's have a look at what the email says. It says, I have a question about Sales Desk. Do you have a mobile app? We then went through, said, yes, it's related to Sales Desk. We summarized it and then sent a message to Telegram. And if we go onto Telegram, we can see we have a new message saying, you have a new email about Sales Desk, email summary. Dave is inquiring whether there is a mobile app for Sales Desk. So there we can see it is working. And that is more than can be said for Zapier's agents. So as a summary, it looks kind of interesting what Zapier is trying to do. Whether it's an agent or not, you could question. I think it probably will work in the future and has some promise, but you can see here, even with a very, very simple automation, which really isn't an agent. This is certainly not an agent, it's just an automation. You can see that it really struggled and it just didn't work. So would I recommend Zapier agents? Well, I can't say that I can because it hasn't worked for me. I do know some people who have got it working, and I think it is good if you are completely new to doing anything with tech, to setting up any sort of information, you don't understand JSON or API calls or anything like that, then maybe if you're starting from scratch, Zapier agents is a better place to start as it's more accessible. However, in the long run, AI is only going to get more and more important to businesses and to processes that happen within a business, and really understanding the basics of how information is passed between different parts of your business is, I think, a key responsibility. And therefore, knowing how a good tool such as n8n works, I really think is much more important, a much more important skill to have. So n8n is still for me the king of the hill. We will see in the future if the non-beta version of Zapier agents can come out with something good. The interface I do like, and I do think it's super straightforward, but it just doesn't deliver any actionable results. If you want to keep up to date with what are the best tools for creating AI solutions within your business or within the business of clients, if you're working with clients and selling AI services to clients, then do come on over to the community where I'm publishing all sorts of news and all sorts of information about the best and new tools that come up. That is it from this video. I hope you found it interesting. Hope you found it useful in terms of what is currently the best tool to be building AI agents with. And it's n8n still at the moment. That's it from this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.